Welcome to Orlando Junior Academy, where there are 3 gardens on this campus, beginning with the Native to Florida garden, where students can use as a resource for science study. Also on campus we have the Pollinator garden, where students can use the butterflies and the flowers to inspire their schoolwork. We have an annual Art in the Garden event where we invite community artists to set up shop around the garden and use it as the inspiration for their art, and the students observe, and it's kind of a art and career day combined. And this year the art teacher incorporated peace poles, and the students entered a competition, and these are the winning peace poles that are now in the Pollinator garden. Edible education experience at Orlando Junior Academy is about grounding education in a garden. And that's where I am right now, is in the school vegetable garden, surrounded by the purple martins that migrate here every year, and they've been doing that for over 25 years. And they help fertilize the garden, which is an organic fertilizer that we use, including birds and worm tea. But the students plant this garden. The math teacher brought the students out after studying graphs and grids in the classroom outside to the garden, and the students planted their graft and they mapped out the garden so that the other teachers in the other classes would know what plot belonged to them. So you have the 3rd graders are growing some wheat. The 4th graders, they study Washington Carver. They planted and harvested peanuts. And you have the pre-K class that comes out the door and gets to treat themselves to broccoli. And so this is the way we try to incorporate gardening in the school curriculum. The plant puts out a beautiful pink flower. And then the little bulb, pod forms, and inside is the cotton, and then the pod breaks open, and then inside you have to remove the cotton seeds. And the 4th graders learn about Eli Whitney and the invention of the cotton gin, and they also experience the difficulty of removing the seed. They also experience the sharp, sticky pods, and they learn about American history as well. And you can bring up some sometimes delicate issues as you're, and the kids can actually see it and experience it a little more firsthand. You put your compost in the top, leave it there, and the worms work on it as it composts. And at the bottom, then they excrete, or they urinate, and that drops to the bottom, and then you capture, we call it worm tea. And that's part of our program, is helping Florida students learn about nature that happens the way it happens in Florida. Typically in your schools, they kind of take the north, what happens in the north, and they teach kids the seasons. For example, the season of an apple tree.
Right.
And
right. I grew up in Chicago.
Okay. So,
yes. Yeah, you come down here.
Right. It's like, well, why not teach them the seasons via an orange tree? And they also, many school students will learn about robins. And what do robins eat? Worms. What do birds eat? Worms. And that's not what they experience. Even though they can come out here and watch what's happening, if you ask them what do birds eat, they'll say worms. And then we can point to them to say, observe a little more closely. What is actually happening? Oh, they're eating bugs, and they're catching them in the air. And so we've learned a lot from our purple martins. The 1st graders are the ambassadors. They watch for the purple martins, and they announce to the school when the first purple martins arrive each January or February. Across the street from Orlando Junior Academy, we will soon be building a kitchen house and garden to share with the community as well as the OJA students. It will be named the Emeril Lagasse Foundation Kitchen House and Culinary Garden, and also Florida Hospital for Children is partnering with us as well as other partners in the community. And when we have this site, we'll be able to have the students come over for a dedicated kitchen classroom along with the garden where the food will go inside, and the students will meet with local chefs that volunteer their time and show the kids how to take good, healthy food from the garden into the kitchen and onto the table. Edible Education Experience is very interested in sharing what we're learning with the community, but especially with teachers and schools that want to have gardens or already have gardens that need to inspire their teachers how to incorporate it into the classroom. So we hold a 2-day academy for teachers or community people, parents who are interested in gardening, to come and learn about the gardening with our gardener, Brad Jones, and then spend the second day in the kitchen with Chef Kevin Fonzo and Chef Sarah Cahill. That will be this year, June 16 and 17. So here in the community garden, we do most of our gardening on Sundays, and we have some new bamboo trellises, and they have prepared the rows of radishes will grow first, and then the tomatoes will grow second and go on up the trellis. And over here we have the beautiful winter lettuce, 2 different varieties of lettuce that are growing and thriving in the cool weather here in Florida. And this is a purple broccoli variety that is really delicious and can just be eaten right out of the garden. We enjoy very much making the connection for people where their food is coming from. And this purple broccoli, for example, is just picked right out of the garden and is delicious. And to make that, help people understand that they can grow their own food, it's affordable, it's healthy, and it tastes delicious, it is making a difference in people's lives. So our gardener, Brad Jones, prefers to have an in-ground garden versus raised beds or container gardens, and sometimes those can be expensive. So we've just started with the soil that we have, which of course is sandy here in Florida. So it's taken time where we've built up the good, healthy soil. He starts with mulch from the city. When you see the trucks mulching the trees and shrubs, they'll bring it to your house and dump it there for you. Then we lay down cardboard, so pizza boxes or cardboard boxes are laid down first, and then the mulch from that's readily available. And then when we get some of the soil working that way, we do get some compost from the city dump or mushroom compost out in Zellwood. We've had some volunteers bring that to us. So over time, the soil really does become rich and can really grow a healthy, robust garden.